Hey, it's Andrew Hawnt. Welcome to VHS Ate My Brain. Say hello, pumpkin. Hello, pumpkin. Thank you for checking out the show. Today we are going to talk about a couple of things on the episode that you're about to watch. First is a new edition of VHS Ate My Brain. Awesome. Some details of that coming up. And also we're going to talk about a 1986 movie called Vamp, starring Grace Jones, featuring Grace Jones as an awesome vampire. Now, in the show notes below, I am linking to a music video for a song I talk about a lot in this episode of VHS Ate My Brain, a song by Grace Jones herself, as featured in Vamp. It is something else. So I do suggest that I do recommend you check out the song that goes with this movie. It is linked to you below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and check out my other shows on the channel. I hope you enjoyed this episode all about Vamp from 1986. Hey, this is Andrew Hawnt. You are listening to VHS Ate My Brain. Thank you ever so much for checking out this show. If you're not familiar with the show already, this is based on my book from 2014, VHS Ate My Brain, and the subsequent column that came out in Screen magazine here in the UK. This is me carrying on with an audio show and a video show on my YouTube channel and the audio show here on Mixcloud. So, yeah, for this episode, I'm going to talk about a couple of things. First of all is the book itself. So, the original version of VHS Ate My Brain, which came out in 2014, was not perfect. I'm the first to admit that myself. There were some mistakes in it, there were some typos in it, the formatting could have been better, but it sold and still continues to sell. I'm extremely grateful for that. But I've always wanted to do a revised edition. So, and a few other people have asked about this as well, so I am going to do that. There will be a revised edition. I am working on that at the moment. There'll be a new edition of VHS Ate My Brain. Should it be out in time for Christmas, with any luck? I'm hoping it will be. It should be finished by then. I do have a lot of other projects on the go at the moment, but that is definitely underway. So do look out for that. It will differ from the original version in some ways. There will be some new content. There is an entire new section at the end with the title that I'd had in mind for a continuation or a sequel or something for a while, which was VHS Ate the World. So there'll be a new section in the revised edition of VHS Ate My Brain. And look out for that as soon as I can finish it, basically. So as well as that edition, the new edition of the book, I want to talk about a really cool film from 1986 called Vamp. Now, this is from a particular era of genre cinema where mixing horror and comedy was a very popular thing to do. It had a weird effect. It kind of created an entire genre all of its own, where the movies that you were watching were very much horror movies, but there was always a little tongue-in-cheek, a little winking at the screen sort of vibe going on with those movies that just made them really accessible to a lot of people, and me in particular. Yeah, I lapped these things up. So any movie that had a lot of horror with a bit of an element of comedy, thinking things like Brain Damage. Oh God, I love Brain Damage. I need to watch Brain Damage again. But all the films that rose up in the wake of the Freddy era, when Freddy was becoming more and more comedic, a lot of horror movies developed that sort of comedy vibe as well. But Vamp is an interesting one, as it also, as well as the comedy and the horror effect, elements to it, it does have a really striking performance from the main villain, which is Grace Jones. I mean, Grace Jones is awesome, an incredible presence in anything that she's done. A unique look, a unique performance, and just a really intimidating presence to her. When you see her in Vamp as the main vampire, She is chilling. She also does the some of the music for the movie, including the song "Sweet Surrender," which is just incredible. It's a breathtaking song. Um, I will put the full title of that song in the show notes because it has slipped my mind at the moment. I do apologise, but it is an incredible song that is really haunting, and I would put it up there with um, the Lost Boys song, which of course is Cry Little Sister. According to my notes here, the song I mentioned by Grace Jones was Seduction Surrender. There's another version of it, another version of the title, Seduction Surrender Longing Fix, which I believe is an extended mix of it. But the song in the movie is Grace Jones, Seduction Surrender. And it's just absolutely haunting. Um, and it just it took me by surprise when I was watching this movie, which was clearly intended as a mix of comedy and horror, that the horror element was effective. Well, I felt it was effective anyway. Bear in mind, I saw this as a kid. I saw another one of those movies I saw underage. But don't tell anyone. Bear in mind, this was 1992. I think I can be forgiven for it now. There are lots of worse things out there now. But yeah, the film has a really interesting atmosphere in that while it deals with horror elements and it deals with some sexual stuff in there, it has a very comic book vibe to it thanks to the lighting. I'm getting ahead of myself a bit there, though. So let's go back to the plot. So two college guys, two college friends, decide to they want to get into a campus fraternity. It's one of those strange alien things from American culture that doesn't really translate very well to an English audience. So yeah, they're trying to get into a fraternity. They borrow a Cadillac from another student called Duncan, who wants to come with them to check out a strip club. They're trying to hire a stripper to essentially buy their way into the fraternity. So they go to a strip club in a really rough part of town, and they like what they see. You know, there's pretty girls there. It's a nice atmosphere going on. It's nice and seedy, which I think is exactly what they were after. I see a stripper called Katrina, played by the aforementioned Grace Jones, who puts on this really chilling, very artistic, high style performance, which is more like performance art rather than an erotic dance routine. But it's meant to be the latter rather than the former, but it does come across more as the former. But of course, this being an 80s horror movie with the name of Vamp, there are going to be some vampires there. It turns out the strip club is full of vampires. Spoiler alert. Um, Come on, came out in 1986. Catch up. Yeah, there's vampires. One of the student guys gets bitten and becomes a vampire. There are other vampire characters in there that are rather unexpected, but it's a great movie to watch if you're in the mood for a farce. It does have a great farcical feel to it, even though it does have those horror elements. And that's an interesting thing to watch. So we've got the comic book feel, as I mentioned, with the lighting. So a lot of the movie is lit in very strong tones of like neon pink, neon green, very bright colours to otherwise dark areas, which gives it a very kitsch appeal. I find it looks great. The cast, the cast is a gift for this film. So so he's got Chris Makepeace as Keith, one of the college guys, Robert Rustler as AJ, the other college guy. Of course, that's Grady from Nightmare on Elm Street 2, if I remember rightly. Grace Jones as Katrina. And the best part of this, for me, is Dee Dee Pfeiffer's performance as Alison, otherwise known as Amaretto, who's a new addition to the strip club and is just trying to earn a few dollars by doing bar work and so on. And she has such a sweet and genuine presence in this film. Which is a great character. Dee Dee Pfeiffer does sincere and sweet very well in everything she's been in, and she's just fabulous in this. Another great presence in this movie is Billy Drago as a character called Snow. I mean, come on, it's Billy Drago. That man's voice, that man's presence on screen is just chilling, even in the light of a comedy-based horror movie such as Vamp. When it came out, the movie it didn't get a very good critical reception from people like Roger Ebert. Did you like anything? A lot of people didn't get on with the mix of comedy and horror. They didn't get on with how kitsch it was. They didn't get on with the sense of humour that it has. It is quite in your face with its sense of humour. It can be a little crude, but it is effective. It's a good watch for 90 minutes. It is a good watch, and for fans of 90s cinema, it could be argued that the movie was a big influence on Robert Rodriguez's From Dusk Till Dawn, which was that was so fun. It's the same sort of atmosphere as From Dusk Till Dawn, in that a bunch of people wind up in a strip bar full of vampires and chaos ensues. I love the word ensues. I love that word. It's a fabulous word, and it is more comedic than From Dusk Till Dawn. It's not as OTT in terms of gratuitous nudity or gore or swearing or violence or anything like that. That's not to say Vamp is watered down. There are some scenes of violence and gore and vampirism that certainly earn its 18 certificate over here in the UK. And it's just a great film. It's a great film to watch if you like horror, if you're in the mood for something a little bit less serious. It certainly doesn't take itself seriously. Grace Jones, as the movie goes on, she only becomes more and more terrifying, and when her form as the vampire queen is revealed, it is just the best. But again, yeah, it boils down to with Grace Jones' character Katrina, it boils down to just Grace Jones being so phenomenally her. It's very her. It's just striking, unforgettable presence that she is. So I do urge you honestly to check out the film, if only just to check out her performance, because it's just something else. It's unreal. The VHS of this I don't have the original one I rented. When I was building my VHS collection, I always wanted to get hold of the original tapes that I had rented from Metro Video as a kid, because those are the ones that were most iconic to me and the most important in my life. Even if it was terrible films, I always wanted to have the original one. So when they started moving away from VHS and moving on to the DVDs and so on, I bought up as many of the VHS tapes as I could. I was heartbroken when I went back to my hometown one day and found that they'd gone. And it was all closed up. I was hoping to get a photo for the book. This is back in 2013, the last time I visited that part of Sheffield where I'm from. And I just thought, if I could just go one more time, even if it's closed, get a photo of the sign. I knew it had closed down, but I just wanted to get a photo of the sign to capture for the VHS Ate My Brain book. And I got there and it was gone completely. It had been erased. And that's a great shame, because video shops and video rental stores were such an enormous part of people's lives. The fact that they have been completely erased, and we now have a generation that going out and renting a movie, the idea of that is so strange and alien and archaic. I feel we've lost something here. I do feel it's important for people to be aware of what their own era's pop culture is built on, and what the foundations were of that pop culture. I mean, if you think about it, VHS shops, well, video stores, rental stores, they were basically, they were a physical version of Netflix. You would go in, you would spend hours there trying to decide what to watch. You would change your mind several times, and then you would find the one or two movies or whatever that you've really needed in your life. It just involved less scrolling or no scrolling and actual interaction and better films, probably. I don't know. I'm just biased. But I do think it's a shame that era has been so forgotten. There have been some great editions of Vamp since then. The most notable one has to be from Arrow Video for me. I love Arrow Video and what they do with old movies. So if you check out the Blu-ray of Vamp from the Arrow Video edition, which is still out in the UK and is also available in the States, there's the high def digital transfer of the original movie, original mono audio, which could have been better, but still. One of Those Nights, The Making of Vamp, which is a brand new documentary featuring interviews with director Richard Wank, stars Robert Rusler, Dee Dee Pfeiffer, Gary Watanabe. It's a great little documentary. And personally, I always think that the making of documentaries could be longer, but it is a fabulous look at how this film was put together. It's quite insightful as well. I think you're going to be surprised by some of the things that are revealed in there. There's behind-the-scenes rehearsals footage, a blooper reel, image gallery, a Dracula Bites the Big Apple from 1979, which is Richard Wank's short film. Excuse me, and a reversible sleeve featuring the original and newly commissioned artwork by the Twins of Evil. So yeah, Arrow Video, they were awesome with the double sleeves and posters and booklets and stuff that come with a lot of their editions, and the edition they brought out of Vamp is cool. The artwork on the front, the new artwork that was commissioned, is very cool and fits with it. Purple, white, and say teal tones. There's some quite scratchy comic book type art, but I loved the original art for this. It's very striking. Although the VHS art for it is crazy with an airbrushed sort of rendition of Katrina screaming and leaping at you mostly naked, which is shocking. Striking in its own right. But I do like the original version of the video sleeve that I saw, which was just the black logo, the Vamp logo with the teeth coming through the lips, and the image of Katrina on it, if I remember rightly. But yeah, check it out on DVD or Blu-ray. If you can find the VHS, do that as well, because I feel a lot of films just feel better on VHS. But I think I am biased, like a lot of people that think vinyl sounds better, albums on vinyl sound better. I just think movies feel and look better on the most familiar format to me, which is the VHS tape. So thank you. That is me babbling about Vamp from 1986. Great movie. Do check it out. It's from a New World Pictures movie. It didn't have a huge budget, but what it did have all ends up on screen. Has a great atmosphere to it. Even though it's built as a comedy horror, it feels more like an 80s straightforward horror movie than a comedy, but it's a fabulous watch for an evening and a great way to spend 90 minutes. I am Andrew Hawnt. If you want to check out my other shows here on Mixcloud, there is also some mix. I've started doing some DJ mixes on my Mixcloud page, mixcloud.com/Andrew Hawnt. I've been doing those under my old school DJ name from my DJ days, which is Mr. Hex. Look, the world is in a state at the moment. I wanted some stuff to do and keep myself occupied, so I've been putting some weird mixes of goth and industrial and metal and stuff up, so check those out if you want to. Over on my YouTube channel, on youtube.com/Andrew Hawnt, you can find the video version of this show, VHS Ate My Brain. You can also find my normal lifestyle show, which covers the writing life and being a dad and a big geek, which is Planet Hex, and my Magic the Gathering show, Turn One Shock, and my fiction show, Compendium 2020. So I've been Andrew Hawnt. You've been awesome. Let's watch Vamp together sometime, because I think you're going to like it. Thanks a lot. This has been VHS Ate My Brain. Catch you again soon. Bye-bye.